Welcome to Optimal Insights, the podcast that brings you Colorado industry leaders providing their expert insights for seniors. Today, we're going to be speaking with Debbie Hutto. She is the Sales and Marketing Director for Caley Ridge Assisted Living, and she has a wealth of knowledge. She's been in the industry for a long time, and she's seen changes, and she's going to give us some insights on helping families and seniors transition from living at home into a facility and understanding when's the right time to do that and how much does it cost. And one of the great things about Caley Ridge is they are a Medicaid facility. So she's going to help pull back the curtain a little bit and help us understand what that means. And I think you're really going to get a lot out of her experience and her insights. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get this information on a regular basis. So without any further ado, let's have a great conversation with Debbie Hutto. Debbie, it's so great to see you. Thank you for taking some time to join us on Optimal Insights. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, Jeff, thank you for having me. I am honored that you called upon me for this.
I'm the honored one. So I've been looking forward to this conversation for a long time. We've tried to put this together for months, and finally it all came together today.
Busy lives that we have. I'm glad we made it happen.
It sure is. So before we get started, I would like to learn a little bit more about you. I know that you've been in the senior industry for quite a long time, even before you got to Caley Ridge. So give us a little insight into your experience and your insight into senior care.
Absolutely. Thank you. I've been in senior care about 20 years. I started out in a non-medical home care company capacity and kind of grew in that. I actually found my job there accidentally. I was an elementary school teacher and I was looking for a summer gig and found this part-time position, which turned into a full-time position, which turned into me going into college to finesse my geriatric background, if you will. I worked with a non-medical home care company for about 6 years, and I've been at Caley Ridge for 13.
I've had 13 years.
Yeah, I've had a little training in Alzheimer's. I've done everything I could to kind of enhance my own background to help me do my job as best
That's
as possible.
Great. And so 13 years is a long time. You've seen a lot happen at Caley Ridge, and I want to get into some of the things that make Caley Ridge unique in a few minutes. But tell us a little bit, what is your specific job role, your title?
I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing in our building. Prior to just Caley Ridge, I was the Colorado Director of Sales and Marketing. We had 3 other properties, and I helped with a memory care property, but now we only own the one property here in town, and I'm it.
One of the things that makes Caley Ridge unique is its connection with Medicaid, which opens up all kinds of opportunities for families in need. And I wanted for you to just expound on that a little bit, if you would.
Absolutely. Most communities are private pay communities, and if you do run out of money, then you either have to move out or find family to move in with. Caley Ridge is a Medicaid community. We have a loan with CHAFA, which is the Colorado Housing Authority. And because of that loan, we are required to have a certain percentage of people on Medicaid in our building, but we have double that. We offer Medicaid to anyone that needs it. They do come in spending privately for a period of time, which is called a spend down. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they can apply for and receive Medicaid benefits. State kicks in, and they can continue living here.
Yeah, that is a beautiful thing. And listen, I think every senior deserves the best care. There shouldn't be, okay, well, you live here, so you get extra care. I mean, you may have more amenities or whatever at different facilities, but the care that people receive should be the same no matter where you're at socially, economically, and Caley Ridge provides that. And I believe that I've spent time in a lot of different facilities. I know that you have too. And everybody needs to find their perfect place. And when I walk into Caley Ridge, and you guys just had a huge makeover, the building looks beautiful, but it just feels like you're coming home when you walk through the front door. Tell me a little bit about how you've seen Caley Ridge change, and maybe how, over 13 years, how you've seen even the industry change for our seniors.
Interesting question. Well, the building was built in 1999, and it was built as independent apartments and was later purchased by other companies, became assisted living. And even back then, the building was lovely. I have seen some Medicaid communities. I mean, let's face it, we're on a budget.
Yeah,
And we do what we can, all buildings do. And at the end of the day, it's about quality of care, not necessarily the bells and whistles. So
that's
over
right.
the years, we have done what we could, but again, focus on quality of care to make everyone that walks in that door feel like family. We do have the family model here. The building is small enough with just 100 rooms that we all know each other. I know
Yeah.
who is gluten free and who likes black licorice and who only drinks decaf. So, because of the nature of this building, we are very family oriented. Now,
Yeah.
since we've had this remodel, which was a surprise to all of us, we not only are a wonderful Medicaid community, but I'm now considering us the premier Medicaid community in the area. It's
As you
stunning.
should.
Yeah, it's stunning what they've done. Our residents are so happy. And, going back to what you had mentioned about everyone deserves something, a home,
Hmm.
care. What we're finding is that so many communities are closing their doors because they're Medicaid and they can't make money.
Oh,
So consequently, this has just become such a huge problem in this area, I'm sure worldwide, but especially in the Denver area. So for us to be able to continue existing and provide this for the families is phenomenal.
yeah, I agree. And my experience with optimal hospice care, I worked as a liaison, and spent quite a lot of time there at Caley Ridge on a weekly basis. And you're exactly right. One of a couple of memories that I have going into to Caley, one of the most special ones is when we had our music therapist come in and play for everybody. And those times, I mention this all the time on this podcast. People are probably sick of me talking about music therapy,
I
but
get it.
I just think it is a beautiful thing to see everybody sit in the front room there on the couches. It is like a living room. It's
Yes.
family time, and everybody is singing. And then you've got I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he gets up and does a solo, and somebody jumps in and wants to play on the piano. It was just magical. And I think the best way there was just joy and love in the room. I just think it was a great thing. And the other thing, do they still do this? Somebody comes in and just delivers flowers, like brings flowers in and they get delivered. You do that?
I
Oh,
have a
tell us a little bit about
relationship.
that.
Yeah, I have a relationship with our King Supers. Well, my King Supers in my neighborhood in Highlands Ranch. Big shout out to you guys. Store number 8, and they they donate flowers. And for years, I would go into King Supers and I would buy all the discounted flowers off the floor. And finally, the manager came and she goes, "What are you doing with all these
Right?
flowers?" And when I told her, she said, "Debbie, we'll give them to you." So
Oh,
they call me and donate buckets of flowers, and I'm able to bring them in and share them with the residents, and they love them.
oh, they sure do. It is a special day. I love seeing the ladies, especially walking around, coming and putting their little bouquets together. It's a beautiful
Yes.
thing.
And as you can imagine,
So
there's a
I'm going to
lot
pick your brain here. Yeah, I'm
sorry.
going to pick your brain here for a little bit because one of the kind of the mission of this podcast is, we bring on Colorado industry leaders sharing their insights for senior care. Since you've been in the industry for so long, what are some of the things that you've tips and tricks for people as to help overcome this challenge? It is a challenging time anytime somebody is bringing a loved one and they're transitioning from living at home to going to a facility. You work with those families and bring them in. What are some of the things that you've learned that help people navigate that journey?
Jeff, one of the biggest things that I tell everyone that comes in, because I've gone through this with my own parents, is it becomes so cumbersome when you're caring for someone. And I hate to use that word, but it is a heavy load. And when
Sure.
someone moves into an assisted living situation, especially like this one where we are family, everyone can assume their original roles. A caregiver becomes the wife again. The sister isn't just coming in to bring groceries, they go out and have their nails done. So everyone gets to reclaim their original roles and continue with a closer relationship.
I love that. That I getting their original, going back to their original role. I love that line because I used to share something similar when I helped families transition their loved one into hospice care. And one of my biggest, and our whole team, one of our biggest goals was we want to take the pressure off of you so that you could be the kid again. I just
Yes.
want you to be the daughter or the son again. Let us carry the burden of the medical and the challenges there, because family members deal a lot as they're caregiving with, I don't know the word to use other than burnout. Like it's really easy to, when you're taking on that burden, you can't stop thinking. You feel like I can't leave them. I need to be there all the time, and just carrying all of that weight on their shoulders. So that's a beautiful thing. Like when they move into a facility, when they move into Caley Ridge, you get to just take on your original role again. That's beautiful. Anything
Another
else that you, oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, another great thing that I love about this community is we have a receptionist 24 hours a day. So, regardless of the time of day or night, there is someone at the front door to answer phones, let people in, take care of anyone in the middle of the night, along with her 24-hour staff. But because of that, we have no set visiting hours. People can come and go whenever
Oh,
they choose. So, if family members are out on a date or out to dinner and at 10 o'clock they want to swing by and say goodnight to mom, somebody's going to be here to let them in. And that is a huge relief for so many people that come in, because there is a little guilt attached to moving your family members into a community. But at the end of the day, they need the socialization. They need to be
sure.
around like-minded people. They need 24-hour care. And this is what we do. So when a family member gets that burnout that you were referencing, they're not taking care of themselves. And if they go down, then their loved one is going down. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, if you don't have anything left in your own tank, you have nothing to give. So self-care is very important when you're helping transition your family members, kind of in this stage of their life. One of the things that I really appreciate about your team, as I was working with when I was on the hospice team, is just the communication is so vital, so necessary in it. And working with Stephanie, working with Simone, working with Will, working with everybody, when somebody needed hospice care or they needed a nurse to come in, it was fast. And I think one of the things that we have to do is work well together, like optimal home care and hospice care in your team. And when we're all doing our jobs well, then the seniors get the care that they need, the care that they deserve. And so that communication is vital.
And it's huge for family members to hear that we partner with someone like Optimal, because at end of life, the last thing they want to do is have their loved ones be removed from their home to go to a clinical setting. So along with your team, our team working collectively to give bedside care, comfort care, palliative, hospice care, counseling, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And just from my own experience, there are some times when people hit stages that some facilities look at, okay, well, now they've hit a stage that is too risky for us. So almost looking, now it's time for them to move to a higher level of care, we need to get them here. And when that is necessary, obviously that needs to happen. But one of the things that I love just about your team is there is an intense desire to fight for people to stay home. And by home, I mean in their apartment at Caley Ridge. So to stay here, because transitioning at that stage of life is in itself very stressful and difficult for anybody. But I think it's that heart of the Caley Ridge team that really provides amazing care.
It's an honor to be with people at end of life too, along with your staff, our staff, the family members. I mean, it is a complete honor. And to have someone stay in their home until they take their last breath is how everyone should be able to leave this earth.
Yeah, I agree. So in your experience, and I love that you started out as a teacher. I can see that in you. You know, there's the teacher and then moving into senior care. And being in this industry for some time, what are some of the challenges that you see? Maybe something having to do with Medicare or just coming into the facility. What are some things that people kind of get hung up on that is difficult, or I didn't know this about Medicare, or I didn't know this about Caley Ridge, and being able to get people in? Because as we have seniors and their families watching this podcast, I want them to walk away thinking, oh boy, Debbie, that point that Debbie made here, I didn't know we could do that. What are some things that you've learned through the years that we could pass on to those families?
The biggest and most important point is people get hung up on the cost of a community. Any community, whether it's a Medicaid, low income, private pay community, that it's costly. What they need to look at is the end game. After a spend down period, and at Caley Ridge, it's a 2-year spend down period, meaning they're paying privately until they go on Medicaid. After people go onto Medicaid and they've satisfied that spend down, that end game is when they go on Medicaid. Any care they were paying for goes away. We absorb that. Their Social Security continues to pay for part of their rent here, as does the Medicaid or the state. They have to look at the end game. I tell everyone that don't get hung up on your monthly costs right now. Get through the 2 years and then it all goes away. So
Then there's no worry.
Right. Don't let that rent right now shock you and frighten you. It's going to end, and it's going to end well for you.
That's great. That is the kind of tidbit that I think people need to hear, because listen, like I said, going to Caley Ridge and a bunch of other facilities, it is expensive. So the sticker shock can be like, well, wait a minute, we only have this much money saved up. Their dad's only got this much money, and that's perfect. It takes the fear away. I think It takes the anxiety and the fear away.
Absolutely. And another thing I tell everyone is don't wait so long that you've spent all your money. Don't wait until you're on Medicaid, because honestly, once people are on Medicaid, we can't accept them in this particular building. They come here and establish residency. If they wait too long, and because there's so few Medicaid communities left, oftentimes they end up in skilled nursing when they don't even belong there, in a long-term care situation, because they're on Medicaid and it's the only place left when they may not belong there. They're not ready for that.
Yeah.
So don't miss the boat. Plan ahead.
That's a great point. I know that when we moved my wife's mother from Chicago to here, and she was afraid to go into any kind of assisted living facility. She just independent. She'd been living on her own for decades, and it was just unsafe. So we moved her here. And then when she moved in and was a part of a community for the first time in a long, long time, it's like all the lights came on. Yeah. I have friends. And even if she wasn't always that social, but just sitting in the lounge and just being in the lounge with everybody moving around and just being a part of it, it was a beautiful thing. It was really huge. A beautiful thing.
We had a woman that moved in here who came in a little kicking and screaming, but it was time. And the daughter said she used to play the piano and she hasn't gone near the piano in years. Well, when her mom came here, we have a baby grand in the lobby, and she started sitting down and playing the piano, and now she plays 3 times a day. And I took a video when she first came in and sent it to her daughter, who was reduced to tears. She was so happy to see that in her mom. But we see stories like this all the time, and it's just so worthwhile for everyone.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Well, Debbie, thank you so much for your time today. This was wonderful. It was worth the wait. It's worth a couple of months wait to be able to get this. And thank you for what you do at Caley. I love the partnership that we have with Optimal and Caley Ridge. Like I said, we're definitely, our theme at Optimal is we're better together. And that goes not only for our teams, but it goes for our partnerships. And we are definitely better together. And the seniors benefit from that. So really appreciate that. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it, and have a great day. I'll see you in the building.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.